defines its conclusion, where opinions collide but facts prevail, where stories unfold with insights and trust. When the noise ends, the last word begins.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of maximum city is infectious. I'm bringing that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the
You are watching the World 24/7 on the NDTV network. I'm Parmeshwar Bava. Let's begin with the top stories you need to know. Yet another ceasefire violation by Pakistan. This is now the 11th ceasefire violation by Pakistan since the attack in Pahalgam. Meanwhile, Rajnath Singh has said that as a defense minister, it's his responsibility to give a befitting reply to those who dare to attack India. The United Nations Security Council will meet today to discuss the escalating tensions between India and Pakistan following the April 22nd Pahalgam terror attack. A missile attack on Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion International Airport forced an Air India flight from Delhi to Tel Aviv to divert to Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. In view of the incident, the Tata Group airline has suspended services to and from the Israeli city till the 6th of May. Australia's ruling party decisively won the country's national election, beating back a conservative opposition that had borrowed from US President Donald Trump's playbook. And after making a mark at Coachella and Paris Fashion Week, Diljit Dosanjh is now set to rule the year's biggest fashion event, the Met Gala. Well, a big focus at the moment, a ceasefire violation by Pakistan. There are reports of firing at 8 sectors across the LOC. The ceasefire violation focused on Jammu. We have these details thanks to my colleague Shiv Arur, who's been tracking all the finer developments. In fact, this marks the 11th ceasefire violation by Pakistan. Shiv is with us over the phone line at the moment with a quick update. Shiv, what are the latest details you can disclose to our viewers?
Good morning. This is the 11th straight night of ceasefire violations since they began 2 days after the Pahalgam terror attack. Interestingly, the interesting thing to note about last night is the very same 8 sectors that saw these unprovoked ceasefire violations from the Pakistan Army side the previous night, that is the 10th night, reflect the same way. So instead of the usual shuffling of sectors that we've seen for 10 days, the last 2 days have seen exactly the same sectors where these violations have taken place. 2 sectors in the Kashmir sectors of the LOC, which is Baramulla and Kupwara, and the remaining 6 sectors south of the Pir Panjal Mountains in the Jammu areas of the LC, namely Poonch, Mendhar, Sundarbani, Naushera, and Akhnur. Therefore, the obvious question that comes up is, what's happening in the Jammu sectors that's got the Pakistan Army posts there especially excited? Because if you look at the pattern of these escalations since the first day, it began only north of the Pir Panjal Mountains. There was a great deal of escalation over there. It slowly shifted south of the mountains into the Jammu region, and now the concentration of those ceasefire violations is in the Jammu region. We don't want to speculate as to why, but this could be part of the larger nerves within Pakistan as to where they believe the next attack might actually be coming from. All of these are rhythms and patterns and loops that the Indian Army, the Indian military is, of course, looking at very, very closely, considering that the Pakistan Army has muscle flexed in every direction, trying to give out the impression of preparedness and readiness for any kind of Indian attack. But remember that these escalations on the line of control by the Pakistan Army are not just about psychological projection of readiness, but also the continuing attempt to infiltrate terrorists into the Indian side. That is continuing. Poonch, Mender are considered successful highways of infiltration, as are Kupwara and Uri, and that's also one of the parallel reasons why these ceasefire violations are continuing, and clearly they don't seem to show any signs of stopping.
Shiv, as always, thank you so much for joining us with the latest. As my colleague Shiv Arur is highlighting, a slew of ceasefire violations by Pakistan along the line of control over the last 10 odd days shows that unprovoked firing from posts across the border are no longer restricted to just one or two sectors, as was the norm in the past. But they have simultaneously taken place all along the LOC in multiple sectors. In fact, Rajnath Singh, in his first public remarks on the deadly Pahalgam attack, has said that it was his responsibility to give a befitting reply to those who dare to attack India. His remarks came amid expectations of military action by India following the deadly Pahalgam terror attack. Listen in.
साथियों, एक रक्षा मंत्री के रूप में मेरा दायित्व है कि मैं अपने सैनिकों के साथ मिलकर देश की सीमाओं की सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित करूं, और मेरा यह दायित्व है कि अपनी सेना के साथ मिलकर देश के ऊपर आंख उठाने वालों को मुंहतोड़ जवाब दूं। आप सभी हमारे प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को अच्छी तरह जानते हैं। उनकी कार्यशैली से भी अच्छी तरह परिचित हैं, उनकी दृढ़ता से भी अच्छी तरह परिचित हैं। मैं आपको आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं, प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में जैसा आप चाहते हैं वैसा होकर रहे।
Meanwhile, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will host his Japanese counterpart, General Nakatani, for wide-ranging talks today against the backdrop of rising tensions between India and Pakistan over the Pahalgam terror attack and also China's persistent muscle flexing in the South China Sea. The Defence Ministry has said that the Indian and Japanese sides will exchange views and ideas on the current regional and international security situation. In fact, the two sides are also expected to deliberate on ways to boost India-Japan defence industrial cooperation as well. Meanwhile, our other big focus, the UNSC meet today over India-Pakistan tensions, while Pakistan has decided to brief the UN Security Council on the latest regional developments in the wake of the deadly Pahalgam terror attack. The decision comes amid tensions between Pakistan and India following that terror attack, as terrorists killed 26 innocent people in Pahalgam on the 22nd of April, which was the deadliest attack in the valley since the Pulwama strike in 2019. You must note that Pakistan is currently a non-permanent member of the Security Council. Well, in other news, a missile attack on Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion International Airport forced an Air India flight from Delhi to Tel Aviv to divert to Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, and it will be returning to Delhi as well. Now, in view of this incident, the Tata Group airline has suspended services to and from the Israeli city till Tuesday, as in the 6th of May. Now, do note that Air India is the only Indian airline that operates flights to Israel. Now, according to international media reports, a ballistic missile launched by Yemen-based Houthi militia held the perimeter of the Ben Gurion International Airport, which is the busiest airport in Israel, leaving a few people injured. The Houthis, while claiming responsibility for this attack, also reportedly warned airlines that the Tel Aviv airport was not safe for travel. Now, as you are well aware, the Houthis have actually been launching attacks against Israel over the latter's military offensive in Gaza. Just listen in to what the Israeli Prime Minister had to say.
אנחנו פועלים נגדם. פעלנו בעבר, נפעל גם בעתיד, אני לא יכול לפרט את כל הדברים. ארצות הברית גם בתיאום איתנו פועלת גם נגדם. זה לא זבנג וגמרנו, אבל יהיו זבנגים.
Meanwhile, a probe by the Israel Defense Forces has revealed that a squad of Israeli soldiers stationed near the border with the Gaza Strip had actually abandoned civilians who were sheltering on Zikim Beach as Hamas invaded the area during the militant group's unprecedented October 7th attack back in 2023. So the troops from the Golan Brigade's 51st Battalion withdrew from the Zikim Beach without adequately engaging with Hamas militants who arrived by speedboat, and this actually led to the killing of 17 civilians in that area. With that, let's turn our attention now to the United States, where Donald Trump has announced on his Truth Social platform a 100% tariff on all movies that he calls are produced in foreign lands. So in his post, he's claimed to have authorized the Department of Commerce and the US Trade Representative to immediately begin instituting such a tariff, although he gave no details on how it would be implemented. But the film industry has already been feeling the effects of the tariffs, as China in April responded to the announcement by reducing the quota of American movies allowed into that country. China, you must note, is the world's second largest film market after the United States, although in recent years, domestic offerings have outshone Hollywood imports. However, the tariffs would deal a significant blow to Western studios, which includes Walt Disney Company, Paramount Global, and Warner Brothers Discovery Inc., still struggling to rebound after the pandemic. And by the way, weighing in on the possibility of a third term in the White House, US President Donald Trump cleared the air by indicating that he would leave the office after completing his second term without trying to extend his stay. Now, he has said this while acknowledging the constitutional constraints of seeking a third term in the office. And during an interview with NBC's Meet the Press, which aired on Sunday, Trump said, "I'll be an 8-year president, I'll be a 2-term president. I always thought that was very important." Trump had earlier said that he wasn't joking when he said he was considering a third term or even a 4th term as US president. But in this latest interview, the Republican leader appeared to change his stance on the topic and said that despite receiving strong support from the allies to run again, he's aware of the realities standing in his way. And in other crucial news, the conclusion of talks on the proposed free trade agreement between India and the United Kingdom, along with 2 other pacts, may take more time as both sides continue to negotiate unresolved issues, sources have informed NDTV. As per reports, the 3 agreements currently under discussions are the FTA, a bilateral investment treaty, and a social security agreement officially referred to as the Double Contribution Convention Agreement. Sources have informed NDTV that certain critical issues are still there and some more meetings would happen, indicating that although substantial progress has been made, some sticking points do remain. Slipping into a quick break, back in a moment with much more. Do stay tuned.
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India, it matters to India, and it matters to me, and it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru, only on NDTV 24x7.
News is not just headlines, it is what impacts you. And news should never be mistaken for noise. What matters is the reality. Accurate, in-depth, and with the right perspective. For over 20 years, I have been a journalist, and never has clarity mattered more than now. At Newsnight, we go beyond the surface. We dissect the details, challenge the narratives, and bring you the unparalleled clarity you deserve in a world clouded by misinformation. We are bold, we are direct. Newsnight, for the news in your interest. Only on NDTV 24/7.
Caste enumeration should be included in the forthcoming census.
पहली बार देश में आजादी के बाद ये फैसला किया गया है.
For this decision we were waiting since long.
This has been only possible with our Prime Minister's decision.
राहुल जी जो सोचदार है मोदी जी ने अडॉप्ट कर लिया, अच्छा है.
राहुल गांधी के सर्टिफिकेट के लिए राहुल गांधी को क्रेडिट देने के लिए कोई निर्णय नहीं किया.
They have always used it as a political weapon, and now that weapon's gone.
The last 1 month, if you see, the share prices of Genzol Engineering has fallen more than 58%.
Why are the rating firms calling the debt payments as default?
We have 2 credible
Well, straight to Canada now, where Prime Minister Mark Carney said he'll meet with US President Donald Trump in Washington on Tuesday. Their first face-to-face encounter since he won an election, in part because of an anti-Trump message. This, as the US President Donald Trump has said, it's highly unlikely he would resort to military force to annex Canada, but is adamant that the border separating it from the United States is an artificial line that prevents the two territories from forming a beautiful country. Maha Siddiqui has been tracking all the latest developments in Vancouver for us. She joins us live at the moment. Maha, so Trump's meeting with Carney is to unfold against a backdrop of the renewed 51st state rhetoric?
Absolutely, Parmeshwar. That rhetoric continues against Canada, and that is the biggest worry for Canada at the moment. And that is why we are seeing that Mark Carney will not just be negotiating an economic and a security agreement with the US, but has also made it clear that he will be doing so as the leader of a sovereign nation. So clarifying the stand of Canada that it continues to be a sovereign nation and will continue to be one. In fact, this matter was raised in the conversation on the 28th of March, the first one between Donald Trump and Mark Carney, in which Donald Trump is believed to have started off by referring to Canada as the 51st state of the United States, to which Mark Carney had said that this was never on the table and will never be on the table. So this meeting, the first meeting between the new Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, and President Trump will take place on Tuesday in the White House. And not only will the two leaders be meeting, but their delegations will be meeting as well. It remains unclear, though, at the moment, Parmeshwar, whether the Canada is going to first push for the removal of all tariffs before they get into formal negotiations on a renewed agreement with the US, or whether these tariffs are going to continue. As of now, the only fact that we know is that Mark Carney will be holding these talks with Donald Trump on the grounds that Canada remains a sovereign country.
As always, Maha, thank you so much for joining us with the lowdown. With that, let's turn our attention now to Australia, where the ruling party decisively won the country's national election, beating back a conservative opposition that had borrowed from US President Donald Trump's playbook. The Labour Party's comeback mirrored Canada's vote last week, where the once unpopular incumbents rode an anti-Trump wave to victory. Most Australians believe the US can't be trusted as a security ally, though, according to a recent poll, reflecting a fundamental change of the worldview, as some analysts argue. But this election signals a revival of social democratic politics many commentators highlight, breathing life into centre-left coalitions that at the start of the year had seemed under threat from rising right-wing populism and anti-establishment sentiment. Well, joining us live at the moment, Australian Labour Party leader Neeldhara Gadani. Thank you so much, Ms. Gadani, for making time for us on NDTV. I am aware you're still awaiting your result, but a terrific mandate for your party. Meanwhile, Ms. Gadani, what are voters on the ground telling you about why they backed Labour? And was this more about policy or a rejection of Trump-style politics?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me on this platform to represent my party. And before that, I will really want to start to acknowledge traditional owner of this land where I'm here, and acknowledging the birthplace where I'm from, India as well. But here, what happened that the Australian Labour Party's policies are so strong, very connected with the people of Australia. And that's where I actually, every single day, I talk about that. I talk about the health. I talk about the Medicare, which is the strongest part of our one of the policy. We talk about the education for every age group. We talk about the housing, which is so much here. And we talk about the climate. So all the pillars and all the values which Australian Labour Party is holding throughout these many years, which is reflecting each and every policies. Right. And that's what I was sharing with my constituent, and people are looking forward for that. And the results are so clear that 26 million people, Australian, they acknowledge and they welcome those policies.
Right. Also, meanwhile, ma'am, recent polling suggests a decline in Australian trust in the US as a security ally. Do you share that concern? And how should then Labour recalibrate foreign policy going forward?
Honestly, Look, our party leaders, Albanese Prime Minister is still, just back in action, back in the office. I really want to wait for his, what he's looking for, and I have full trust on that. We are very. We are looking forward to have a great relationship with every nation, but I'm really looking for Prime Minister to start with what he's looking for and how he will going to do. So, yes, I'm waiting for.
Well, we'll keep a close eye on all the developments, but meanwhile, commentators are calling this a revival of social democratic politics. What does that look like on the ground for voters in your electorate?
I'm on. I'm keep saying that it's more about, we talk about the positive policy. We talk about nothing which is divide anyone. It's that is which we as a party member, we value that, and we as a party member always talk about the positiveness, talk about what policy, how that's going to help, in this time, which is things are changing in the world and the cost of living is very high.
Right.
This policy. So this is what I did throughout my campaign and throughout my this many 3 years which we are working on. The best part is here you can see the what happened throughout the campaign, but start to end, the consistency which we make sure that the policy which start with, we continue and consistently strengthening that by giving something which Australians are looking for. We listen and we act, and that's what I want to talk about more.
Well, as they say, actions speak louder than words. Ms. Kadrani, thank you so much for making time for us. Good luck on that result you're awaiting, but terrific performance on the Labour Party's behalf in Australia. We'll keep tracking the latest. Slipping into a very quick break for now. Back in a moment.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
More news that matters.
Big exclusive. Tulsi Gabbard gunned down by Pakistan-backed cowards.
When you interact with people on ground, you're able to reflect their sentiments much better.
More debates that shake the system. More exclusives you won't find anywhere else. Not just another prime time. It's a prime time that's unmissable.
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters to India. It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru, only on NDTV 24x7.
How often have you turned away from debates that descend into endless fights? We bring you a show where every question is answered. where every debate finds its resolution, where every story finds its conclusion, where opinions collide but facts prevail.
Meanwhile, jury selection is set to begin in New York today in the blockbuster trial of music mogul Shaun Combs, who dramatically fell from grace following his incarceration on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. Shaun Combs, who's 55 years old, has been awaiting his day in court since last year on accusations of leading a crime ring that prosecutors say coerced victims into drug-fueled sex parties using threats and violence. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all the charges, insisting that any sex acts were consensual. But at a recent hearing, his attorney offered a preview of his team's defense by describing the artist's freewheeling swinger lifestyle. The prosecution said in court it had offered Combs a plea deal. The specifics were not disclosed, but that he had rejected it. Switching tracks, well, the area where Elon Musk's SpaceX company operates on the southern tip of Texas is to officially become a city called Starbase, believe it or not. Residents approved incorporating a patch of land as a new municipality, in an election over the weekend on Saturday. And most of the 283 eligible voters are actually SpaceX employees. Well, spoiler alert. The new city, though, covers about 3.9 square kilometers that was sparsely populated before SpaceX began buying land in the area back in 2012. And finally, Diljit Dosanjh is all set and ready to add another feather to his cap, and this time it's got a major fashion twist. The Punjabi superstar has confirmed that he will walk the iconic red carpet at the Met Gala, marking his debut at one of the world's most high-profile style events. The Met Gala, often dubbed the Oscars of fashion, will be held at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, and with Shah Rukh Khan, Kiara Advani and Priyanka Chopra already locked in, Indian representation at the gala is turning heads like never before. Thank you for investing your time and watching this edition of The World 24/7. As always, we'll keep tracking the latest for you. Do stay tuned.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I'm bringing that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti, also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
India's IT capital is always bustling, a city full of startups, stories and surprises. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru. Only on NDTV 24/7.
News is not just headlines, it is what impacts you. And news should never be mistaken for noise. What matters is the reality. Accurate, in-depth, and with the right perspective. For over 20 years, I have been a journalist, and never has clarity mattered more than now. At Newsnight, we go beyond the surface. We dissect the details, challenge the narratives, and bring you the unparalleled clarity you deserve in a world clouded by misinformation. We are bold, we are direct, Newsnight, for the news in your interest. Only on NDTV 24x7.
Caste enumeration should be included in the forthcoming census.
पहली बार देश में आजादी के बाद ये फैसला किया गया है.
For this decision we were waiting since long.
This has been only possible with our Prime Minister's decision.
राहुल जी जो सोचदार है मोदी जी ने अडॉप्ट कर लिया, अच्छा है.
राहुल गांधी के सर्टिफिकेट के लिए राहुल गांधी को क्रेडिट देने के लिए कोई निर्णय नहीं किया.
They have always used it as a political weapon, and now that weapon's gone.
In the last 1 month, if you see, the share prices of Jinzol Engineering has fallen more than 58%.
Why are the rating firms calling the debt payments as default?
We have two credible credit rating agencies on March 4th coming and downgrading the stock to D.
Statements are consistently being proven wrong, and transactions are being taken place which are different from what they were originally pictured to be.
Hello and good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Show. I'm Radhika Ramaswamy joining you from Mumbai studios. We also have Divya Vadhwa joining us from Delhi. Divya, ceasefire violations continue at LOC, 11th consecutive night of ceasefire violations.